Hey, what is up guys, it is Phantom here and welcome back to a brand new video everyone. So this video is actually going to be a bit of a special one because it's going to be an updated version of a video that I posted more than a year ago when my channel was kind of just first getting started here, and it was one of my videos that gained the most traction back then and honestly just blew my mind. But I really wanted to make an updated version of it, and if you guys couldn't tell, today I'm going to be ranking every single world in Wizard101. If you couldn't tell by the title and thumbnail, that is kind of what we're doing today. So I really want to do an updated version because my opinions on each world have changed a little bit now that I've made more characters and I've quested through those, and I have some differing opinions, so I really wanted to do an updated version to that. So anyways, there's a lot that goes into my ranking of each world on this list, right? It's kind of just overall how much I enjoyed, you know, a certain world for what it is. So it could include like the quest line, like the aesthetics, you know, just like the attention to detail. All that stuff is just really important, and overall just kind of contributes to my ranking of each world. So anyways, that's kind of the basis I'm going off of. I just wanted to mention that, but let me know your opinions in the comments down below because I feel like a lot of people definitely have differing opinions based on how much they enjoyed each world. But anyways, without further ado, this is a worst to best list, so let us get into the worst world in Wizard101 in my opinion. Alright, so coming up first on the list might honestly piss some people off because honestly in like streams and stuff, for some reason there seems to be an abundance of my viewers who actually enjoy the world of Azteca. Sadly, I just don't share their opinion. I really don't, and I'll tell you exactly why, and just all the problems that I have with this absolute dog shit world. So anyways, we have Azteca here coming in at the worst spot on this list, and really the only good thing I can say about it is the appearance of the world. I really do like the dino, jungle, foresty vibe that they've got going on here, and it really kind of sucks that these looks were just wasted potential of just a world that could have possibly been really good. But anyways, why Azteca falls so short for me anyway is the quest line, okay? The quest line and just the amount of quests, as well as kind of the difficulty of the bosses here. And what I mean by that, sorry, I gotta collect pretty much every single reagent in the game or else people just get mad at me in each video. But anyways, Azteca though, Azteca, what I hate about it most is gonna be the quest line, guys, okay? Just the quest line, it is absolutely it's just so tedious, okay? It's absolutely so tedious. And it's just littered with defeat and collect quests, as well as just many boss battles that just absolutely waste your time and don't even keep you invested in the world. Every time I just quest throughout Azteca, and I have been doing it a lot recently on a lot of my characters during streams, really just the quests are they're just so useless. I have to say, you know, it doesn't even really feel like I'm that invested in the game when a side quest, actually no, it's not even a side quest, when a main quest line is make a salad for a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just not very immersive overall, and Azteca's story for me is just not enough to really, it's just not enough to make up for kind of just the tedious quest line that they've got going on here. So anyways, the story sucks, the quest line sucks, this world is just absolutely littered with tedious mob and boss battles, and it's just the stupidest thing. Alright, granted, the only thing that kind of bumps it up is its looks, and I mean, I guess you do get Sharpened Blade and Potent Trap in the world as well, so, you know, I guess that's kind of noteworthy. But anyways, I hate Azteca the most, and I believe in my video that, you know, in my video that's the same as this one, but it's a year old. In that one, I'm pretty sure I put Zephyria as my worst world, but nope, Azteca definitely takes the cake nowadays. I hate this place so much. Anyways, let us move on to the next world on this list. Coming up next on the list at the second worst world is going to be Zephyria, and the reason why I put it here is basically, in essence, it's just kind of a mini Azteca, okay? It suffers from a lot of the same problems, and it has a lot of the same good things that Azteca also has. So, like a good environment and appearance that makes me want to get invested in the world, but when I actually come to do the quests, it falls short a bit, okay? And what I mean by like mini Azteca when I say that is that it suffers from essentially tedious boss battles and tedious questing, just tedious like defeat and collect quests basically. So really the boss thing isn't like that much of a problem when it comes to Zephyria, because like in Azteca you got a ton of bosses like just for some quest lines that are just lined up in a row, and just can be super annoying. But Zephyrrias are honestly spaced out enough to where I can definitely enjoy the world a little bit more than Azteca. But as for Zephyria though, the defeat and collect quests, guys, I'm sorry, they're really bad. They really are. They're not quite Azteca level. It's definitely just like a watered down, toned down version of Azteca. That's why it comes in at a little bit better, you know, on this list, because it's really just less Azteca than Azteca. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of just why I put it here. But overall, if I had to have some good things about Zephyria, I mean, the appearance, obviously I mentioned that before, it's pretty good. It just doesn't make up for it enough. And obviously, of course, like the quest line, or I guess the storyline, It's not horrible, right? There's definitely a lot of worlds that are just going to surpass this, though, like, in essence, you know, with their story and everything. And, of course, we'll get to those as well. But the storyline, it really isn't good enough, and the looks just aren't good enough, really, to make up for the tedious quests. So it suffers from a lot of the same problems as Azteca, and that is why I'm going to have to put it here pretty low on the list. Next up, we have Celestia. Oh my god, what a fucking shit world this is. I mean, seriously, okay. Listen, it's a little bit better, honestly. It's a little bit better than Azteca and Zephyria, and the only reason, literally the only reason that this is higher than those two on this list is the difficulty is a little bit easier, right, overall. I mean, it kind of does make sense because this is like at the beginning of the second arc, so that does make sense, but that is definitely why I'd have to put it ahead of Azteca and Zephyria. But otherwise, man, this world just sucks, okay? The quest line is just extremely boring, okay? Celestia has like literally one of the worst stories in the game. Like up until like, I don't even know, like 3/4 of the way through the world, like there's just really not much story here. There really isn't. There's just nothing to keep me invested. The world itself is just like the worst looking world in the game, other than maybe like Crocotopia. This world just sucks looks-wise. Literally everything about this world, besides like the difficulty, which is just okay, but it is definitely offsetted by a few annoying mob and boss battles. It's just overall not a very good world, and not a world that I really want to spend a lot of time in, you know? I'm kind of just getting anxiety, right? Even when I'm just sitting here, you know? But anyways, I have to put Celestia here, just once again, just an insanely boring quest line, and just every time I quest through Celestia, I just want to get out of here as soon as possible, because there is literally nothing about this world that makes me, you know, excited to play it. There's just nothing to draw me in, you know? Like, I'll never find myself just saying, oh my god, you know, I'm so fucking excited to go to Celestia, right after I finish Dragonspire. That never happens, guys. I always just kind of want to move on, right? Like, the whole second arc, honestly, is just not, it's not my cup of tea, really, very much, and I just kind of want to move through with it as fast as possible. And honestly, Celestia does a really poor job of introducing me to the second arc, really, with just some of just the worst features of a world in any game. So, or not in any game, in this game. So anyways, that is gonna be all for Celestia. From Celestia? Yeah, sure, I'm good at talking. Anyways, that's gonna be it for Celestia. Let us move on to the next world on this list. This is probably one of the more bigger changes that I have made to my worlds list since I made that video a year ago, because I believe Crocotopia was like somewhere near the top, like because I watched the video back right before this. But anyways, Crocotopia, man, it was like near the top, you know, when I posted that video a year ago, and now it's like near the bottom. It's like literally the 4th worst world in the game, okay? And here's my reasoning, okay? So I've quested through Crocotopia many times, whether it's been through one of my main characters that hasn't been deleted, or it's been a character that I just never had bothered finishing and then eventually ended up deleting. Anyways, my point is, I have been through this world a lot, okay? And I've just realized over time, it's just not a good world, okay? It's just not a good world, alright? And I realized when I made that list a year ago, I really do think that I was kind of clouded by nostalgia a little bit, and that's what made me put Crocotopia higher up on the list. But I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm really tired of Crocotopia. Like, I cannot wait for that graphics revamp to happen, because this world desperately needs it, because, oh my god, this world has, like, nothing, okay? It's actually not annoying at all, okay, to go through, I will say. The difficulty is absolutely fine for the level that you come in at. I think the questing actually goes really smoothly, and that is really the only good thing I can say about Crocotopia, though. The looks, I mean, this world looks absolutely horrendous. The story in the first arc, right? So, of course, you know, this world is located in the first arc, right? And you know, by the time you kind of get here, the story hasn't really picked up yet. I think the story honestly picks up a little bit more in Marleybone, and it kind of just does a better job constructing the Malastare arc. Like, you don't even get to see Malastare in this world. Like, this world's so bad, guys. It's so bad. Just, oh, man, the quests are okay. Okay, the quests are okay. The looks suck. And it's just, I just don't get that invested anymore, because I just don't have that same nostalgia as I did a year ago. So anyways, that is why I'm going to have to put Crocotopia pretty low on the list. Very big change from my last video. But yeah, I'm gonna have to put it here, Crocotopia. I'm really sorry. I'll always love you, but you're just gonna have to go. I'm sorry, I can't ignore facts, alright? I can't ignore facts. Anyways, let us move on to the next world. Coming up next, we have Dragonspire. Now, this world, I'm not gonna lie, is just extremely mediocre in every way. Like, the world doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad. Like, the quests are not great, but they're not the worst ones in the game. But that's kind of why I just had to put this at a mid to low spot on the list. It's just because whenever I'm in Dragonspire, like, I'm just like, you know, it's okay, right? Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as like some of the other worlds on this list, but it's just not it's just not it for me. It's really just not it. It's got just the most mediocre story ever. Honestly, I feel like they could have handled the whole Malastare arc just a little bit better and maybe built up to a little bit more of an epic conclusion. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit cheesy. And so, okay, the storyline, mediocre, right? The actual quests and the difficulty of them honestly kind of annoyed me a little bit whenever a boss would like tower shield or weakness me. I mean, it was kind of pretty prevalent, you know, throughout this world's questing. So that kind of annoyed me to no end. The world itself obviously needs a revamp in the looks department. I just don't think it's doing, I just don't think it's doing very good right now. So Dragonspire overall just gets the award for the most okay world in the Spiral, really, because that's just what it is, really. I kind of expected something a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie, for the first arc when I quested through it for the first time, and honestly at this point I'm just kind of tired of doing it over and over on each wizard. So I'm just gonna have to put it here. I've just kind of gotten sick of it. I'm sorry, it's just so mediocre. I'm sorry to all you Dragonspire lovers out there, but I'm gonna have to put it here on this list. So anyways, that is all for Dragonspire. I'm gonna get away from here and its mediocrity, so let's move on to the next world on this list, everyone. Coming up next is going to be the world of Mushu, and I'm really not gonna lie, this world kind of just struggles from the same things as Dragonspire. It's just not inherently that great. Like, it just, the looks for me, okay, I'm not gonna lie, some people might argue that Mushu is like one of the most beautiful worlds in the Spiral, and after just seeing the Mushu and Pirate, I'm sorry, like that one just absolutely blows this out of the water. You know, just see what Mushu could have been if they had just, I guess, waited a little bit longer. But for now, you know, we've got this Mushu, and it's you know, it's just okay, right? Like, the quests are not too annoying to go through. The world itself, I can definitely tolerate it. I definitely look forward to it sometimes in Mushu, which is really, really good. I can't say that for a lot of the worlds, as you guys have previously heard from me, but Mushu itself, it's just alright, like Dragonspire, it's just okay. Like, the quests aren't too bad. I will say I definitely enjoy this world a lot more than Dragonspire. There's definitely a significant gap, I feel like, in between the worlds, you know, the worlds that were previously, the worlds that were previously on this list and the worlds that I'm getting into right now. There is a pretty significant gap, honestly, but Mushu itself does struggle from just a little bit of that boring, you know, mediocrity, you know, that Dragonspire also suffered from, and that's kind of just why, that's just kind of what I think about it. Like, I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate from all the Mushu haters, or not from the Mushu haters, from all the Mushu lovers that, you know, I just don't like Mushu that much. Like, it's just okay. That's why it's at an okay spot on the list. Like, it's not bad. It's definitely not a bad world, but it's just not, oh man, it just could have been so much better. Like I said, the Mushu and Pirate just absolutely makes this one look bad, really. It just, oh my god, that one's just absolutely incredible. But here, it just doesn't do it for me, really. It just doesn't do it for me, and it just kind of struggles with Dragonspire in the fact that there is just nothing inherently great about it. Like, the storyline is meh, it's okay. Like, I mean, you gotta, like, go to these different, like, temples or something like that to purify the Emperor and collect, like, some sacred objects. It's okay, right? It's just not, I don't know, it just doesn't get me going, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't really quite do it for me. So that is why Mushu and all of its mediocrity is going to be put on a mediocre spot on this list. So anyways, that's all for Mushu. Let us move on to the next world. Coming up next, guys, we have Wisteria. Now, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I really love this world personally. Like, I really, really do. There's just something about it, right? With just, like, the aesthetic, just the overall look of the world, like, just the themes. I just love it. I really, really do. Now, the problem is, though, when I looked back on it, and when I looked back on my previous video, I had put Wisteria on a pretty high spot on the list, and it's still definitely at a decent position, just because I really, really enjoy the world whenever I'm questing through it. But I realized a critical error that KingsIsle made with Wisteria, okay? And that is that the world lacks a lot of substance, alright? And what I mean by that is there's just not much, really, that's interwoven throughout Wisteria. Like, you literally just come here, and granted, it is a super, super nice looking world and everything, but you come here literally just to do a wizard tournament and get a trophy and just win the trophy for Ravenwood. That is literally your main purpose here. You just don't do a whole lot. And of course, you gotta, like, rescue the trophy from, like, some green men, and you gotta, like, stop these green men from, like, I don't know, spreading their plants or some shit all over Wisteria. It's just not a very interesting, particularly interesting plot line. And that's kind of what lacks the substance. The world's also too short. I feel like they didn't really give Wisteria enough time to quote-unquote grow on people. No pun intended right there, but I really do think that is where they made their main error with Wisteria, and that is why it is not on a higher spot on the list. But overall, I really do enjoy questing through it just myself. Like, this is just me personally talking. Like, I'm not trying to spit facts here like I was with the substance thing. Literally, me personally, like, that's just why it kind of comes in at a high spot on this list. I like the look of it. I like like the whole, you know, idea of a parallel Ravenwood school. Of course, it had a lot more potential, really, and it honestly deserved a lot more credit, you know, when it was made. But Wisteria, it's honestly just, it's a good world. It really is. Like, I can definitively say that this is just a good world, you know, like a solid world that just needed a bit more time and a bit more content added to it to make it a great world, you know what I mean? So anyways, that is my opinion on Wisteria. Let us move on to the next world. Alright, coming up next, we have the world of Mirage, the second world in the third arc, and honestly, I've mentioned this in previous videos, like, Mirage is hands down my least favorite world in the third arc, even though the majority of the third arc was honestly really, really good. Mirage is kind of just where it fell a little bit short for me. It just kind of fell a little bit flat, and I'm like being totally honest when I say this. I'm not really sure why. Like, I'm not really sure why Mirage didn't quite hit the mark as, like, some of the other worlds for me, because honestly, it is a really, really nice world. It overall has really, really cool aesthetics, you know. It might have something to do with, like, the whole desert theme, though. It's kind of just something that we have seen before and has been a little bit overplayed in the past, but it really doesn't bother me that much. Like, overall, the world does look really, really nice. The quests really aren't too hard. I think the difficulty is honestly really, really appropriate after Polaris. I really do. Like, I think it's all scaled, like, really, really well. So, honestly, really, really good job there, KI, with balancing the world pretty well. I know Mirage got, like, nerfed to hell, and some people were, like, mad about it, but honestly, I thought it was kind of a good decision in the end. It really did make the world, like, flow a lot nicer, and honestly allowed me, like, as a person to just enjoy it a little bit more. But I guess I'm not sure. Like, I feel like it falls a little bit short. Actually, you know what? I've kind of pinpointed it a little bit as to why I don't like Mirage as much. I feel like it falls a little bit short in the villain department here. So obviously, you know, you've got, like, old Cobb, who's, like, pretty much looming over the third arc, like, the entire time, but I'm not really gonna count him in this. Like, the actual villains, like the actual little side villains inside of the Mirage world didn't really do it for me. And really, to have a good story, you gotta have, like, a good villain who's just, like, at the helm of it, you know, who's driving everything. And really, the Scorpion didn't do it for me. He just didn't. Like, he was so lame. He just kind of sucked, right? And I feel like just a lot of the other side villains in Mirage, like, I don't know, Ali Baboon, I think there was, like, a couple assassins, I don't know, just throughout it, kind of felt a little bit corny to me, and I don't know, the whole world itself didn't feel as immersive as, say, Polaris or Imperia. So anyways, I'm gonna have to put Mirage here because it didn't quite hit the mark for me, but it is definitely a good world, and as such retains a good spot on this list. So anyways, that's gonna be it for Mirage, everyone. Let us move on to the next world. Alright, coming up next, we have the world of Avalon. Definitely my favorite out of all the second arc worlds. Actually, no, probably not. That probably goes to, actually, we'll get to that later. But Avalon is definitely one of my favorite second arc worlds, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, guys, whenever I just quest through Avalon, like, I just have so much fun. I don't know why. It just could be that the difficulty is really, really balanced, right? It could be that, you know, it's not too soon. I mean, sorry, it's not too late after you get your new gear to where it's too difficult. It could just be, like, the medieval themes, and I'm just, like, really into that shit. I'm not really sure, but Avalon is just an overall really, really, like, good world. Like, it just is. Like, the story, honestly, I was a big fan of it. I know some people, like, kind of accused it of just being a little bit too boring, you know, just, like, going throughout the world, like, just trying to, like, find the sword, and in the end having the sword just being, like, not that good and just, like, you never using it. Anyways, I don't really care too much about the sword. I feel like the sword was just kind of more of a figurehead anyway. Honestly, this might sound corny, but, like, the adventures, you know, that we had along the way in Avalon really, really, like, stuck with me. I'm not really sure, but, like, Avalon, I've just always had good memories throughout it. It always has just been a world that had good aesthetics, a good storyline, and honestly, just a good experience with all the battles as I would just go through the world. So, honestly, all those reasons just contribute to why I really, really enjoy it a lot, and I just really, really enjoy it a lot, and I'll keep enjoying it to this very day. I'll just keep enjoying it, you know, throughout my wizarding career. It's just never gonna get any worse for me, I feel like. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just true. Like, Avalon will never go out of style for me, so I'm gonna have to put it at this spot on the list. Just an overall really, really good world. Nothing too bad to say about it, except maybe, I don't know, a little more action. Perhaps, maybe a bit more, like, events could have happened. I'm not sure. It was a little bit maybe stale in that department if I, like, really had to pinpoint something bad about it, but there really wasn't too much. Like, it was just an overall really, really good world. So I'm gonna have to put it here for now, though, and without further ado, let us move on to, oh gosh, we're really getting into some top dogs here. Let's move on to them. Coming up next, we have the very, very fun world of Imperia, and oh my god, this whole world is just an absolute acid trip. Like, this is a really good world. It honestly is. Like, the the storyline is just like some of the best, honestly, of any world. The looks wise, it's honestly really interesting, because if you come over to the little stream portal here, you can see like there's just a ton of different like biomes to explore and everything. It just makes for like really good variety within the world, you know. And it's kind of weird because you can't really pinpoint Imperia to like one certain theme, except for maybe like Star Trek, you know, because it's a little bit Star Trek like with all the references and everything. But anyways, it's just such an interesting place. It's such an interesting place of Imperia. Like, it's almost like they kind of forgot how to do like a world with like a particular theme and like stick with that consistent theme throughout the world, you know. And we got this absolute mess of Imperia, but it was like so good at the same time. Like, it was so good, like, in the way that they did it. Honestly, I just didn't get tired of the world, you know. When I was questing through it on my fire, which is my max here, I just didn't get tired of it. Like, I honestly just kept wanting more and more Imperia, and honestly, I gotta say, not a lot of worlds can really do that for me. So overall, Imperia just has a really nice storyline, a really nice conclusion with that little old Cobb and Raven scene. It's just absolutely awesome, and the Titan and everything. Sorry if I'm just like spoiling something if you haven't gotten here yet, but honestly, really good storyline. I love the variety of like the looks, as well as like all the different biomes. It's just super cool. And the world itself, I mean, definitely like Imperia Part 2 had its moments of difficulty, but overall it was like relatively smooth sailing, especially if you would do it with a team. So honestly, I think this world is just absolutely amazing in like almost every single way. So I'm gonna have to put it here on the list for now. And once again, guys, I know I mentioned this before, but let me know your opinions in the comments down below of your favorite worlds in Wiz, or do your own like ranking. I'd honestly love to hear all of them. But that's gonna be it for Imperia, and let us just keep trucking through the list here. Let's move on. Coming up next, everyone, is going to be the world of Marleybone, one of my favorite worlds in the first arc. This world is just honestly amazing if you're just talking about like the Victorian steampunk-esque themes, as well as just the storyline, which honestly I think is super interesting, how you have to chase like one of the biggest criminals like in the spiral, you know, just through the on the rooftops of like certain buildings, and overall just leading up to like one big clock tower where like it just has been revealed that like he's just now working with Malastare. This is Meowyardi, by the way, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about. It's just awesome. It has an awesome plot line. I just really love the whole theme of Marleybone. Like, just the concept of dogs walking around just fully clothed is honestly just hilarious to me. There's just so much about Marleybone that I really enjoy, and literally I can fully say every time I get to Marleybone on one of my wizards, I'm just so ready for it. Like, I'm just so ready to do it. Like, the world is just extremely well paced, honestly. Like, just the quests, it's not too difficult. The world's not too long either. It's kind of a short but sweet world, kind of like one of the others that's coming up on this list. But overall, Marleybone is just such a good world, just one of the best in the first arc. Like, just overall, just amazing qualities really of it. Just like the characterization of certain people like Meowyardi, it's just awesome. It really is. And it's kind of cool, you know, to see what it's kind of cool just to see the things that they accomplish, you know, in a world as early as Marleybone. Really, I think it's kind of revolutionary. And, you know, some people might not feel the same way. I feel like a lot of people are kind of just sick of Marleybone at this point, but for me, it'll never really get old. It'll never get tiring. I'm honestly just I'm always going to enjoy questing throughout Marleybone. I don't think that's ever going to change. So anyways, that is all I have to say about Marleybone, though. Let us move on to, let's see, are we at I believe we're almost at the top 3. I don't think we're quite there yet, but let's move on to the next world, everyone. Next up, we have the beautiful, wonderful world of Polaris, guys. This is just such a high quality world, honestly, and I feel like part of the reason why I like Polaris so much is it is such a nice break, really, after just the absolute doldrums of the second arc. And what I mean by that is basically, in essence, Azteca and Chrysalis. Like it's just a really nice breather, honestly. The world itself is very easy. It's, like I said, a little bit more of a short and sweet world, a little bit like Marleybone, kind of, but like I said for Marleybone, similarly, literally, it's just, whenever I come to Polaris, like, I just enjoy it so much. I really just enjoy, like, being in this world's atmosphere, and honestly, I cannot say that for a lot of worlds, like I mentioned before. So Polaris overall, just the battles, you know, were extremely smooth. Like, the whole world itself ran really smoothly, and it was really nicely paced, especially within the storyline. And hey, the storyline is honestly really good as well. The storyline of Polaris is just one of the best in the game, honestly. It's 100% one of the best in the game. Like, the whole thing with Rasputin and you slowly discovering, like, that old Cobb has children, as well as the introduction of the Arcanum, really made this a memorable world, even though the world is a little bit shorter than I would personally like it to be. So overall, you know, all those things just contributing, coming together, just makes Polaris one of the best worlds in this game, and I don't think I'll ever grow tired of it. Seriously, this world is just so nice. Like, it's just so nice. Like, it's fucking beautiful. Just look at it. It's absolutely fucking beautiful, and it's just it's just really like the epiphany of the third arc. Really, it is. Like, this world is absolutely genius in every single way. So KI, good job with this one. You got a good world on your hands with Polaris. So anyways, that's all for Polaris though. Let me collect let's collect this ore here. But yeah, like I said, people really do get mad when I don't collect all the reagents in the video. But anyways, that's all I got for Polaris. Let us move on to, I believe, our top 3. Now this one is honestly going to come at a bit of a surprise to some people, but coming in at number 3 is going to be Chrysalis. Like, this world is actually insane, really, and let me tell you why. Okay, so I quested on this world a couple months ago on my death for the first time in many years, you know, since questing on it from my fire, like when it first came out. Like, it has been a long while since I've quested Chrysalis, and I was always under the impression that it was a really boring long world, you know. But then on my death wizard, right, I soloed most of Chrysalis. Okay, I eventually, like, you know, switched to questing on streams, and now I kind of do that nowadays and don't really pay attention that much. But I soloed most of Chrysalis, right? And I gotta say, like, this, like, they did a great job with it. I'm not even gonna lie, they did a great job with it. The appearance itself, okay, well, I'm in Bastion right now, which isn't exactly the most visually pleasing area, but the appearance overall of Chrysalis is actually really nice. And this is, okay, let me just say this, alright, and this is kind of what sets it apart from most worlds. The storyline is the best in the game, hands down. There is no world, at least in my opinion, that has a better storyline than Chrysalis. And honestly, what a good storyline does for a world, and why I think it's so important, is it keeps you invested. It's like, it's really what keeps you playing throughout the world and like keep wanting to play throughout the world. I think it's honestly really crucial if you want to have a good world. A good storyline is just absolutely essential to have, and Chrysalis just fills that and more. Like, seriously, it's so good. The whole storyline, it's just, oh my god, I don't know, like, whenever I'm in Chrysalis, like, it actually like really feels like I'm just like in an actual new, ooh, I didn't want to go into the mini games there, sorry, just wanted to collect the reagents. But whenever I go and quest throughout Chrysalis, it really feels like I'm in a whole another world. Like, I've just been totally immersed into the game, really, and no other world can do that for me like Chrysalis. So that's why it comes in at such a high spot on the list. I might, you know, I might get some claims that this is a bit of an unpopular opinion just because the length, you know, kind of drives people away sometimes. But overall, Chrysalis is a great world. It's such a great world. So I gotta put it here for now. Anyways, guys, let us move on to the second best world on this list. Let's head there right now. Coming in at the second best world in the spiral is going to be Wizard City, everyone. The classic first world in the first arc. This is where it all begins, okay? Just one of my, oh god, my second favorite world. I mean, overall, obviously, right? You guys will know, you know, through process of elimination what my favorite world is already. I mean, if you've done the math, right? But Wizard City is just such a good world. It is such a good world. Honestly, the storyline, it kind of babies you a little bit, but like, really, that's what I love about it. The nostalgia for me, I might be a bit clouded by nostalgia, and honestly, some people might claim that Wizard City's not actually that good, and I'm just kind of basing it off like the memories I have with it. But man, I've quested through this so many times, and each time I just really enjoy like how humble the whole world feels, you know? I really just enjoy it. I can't even explain it that much. It's just a feeling, right? You get that certain feeling when you go into Wizard City that you just don't really get anywhere else. You really don't. This world is just so special to me. It always has been, and it always will be. Seriously, like, just the quests are honestly really immersive and really just fun to do. The whole world's difficulty, it's a very smooth world. I mean, it is the beginner world, you know. Like, there's just barely anything better than it. Like I said, it's not quite number one, but god, is it a good world. It's a really good world. Like, I don't even think I need to explain it. I really don't, because I feel like everyone has those special memories in Wizard City. And honestly, ever since they did the graphics revamp, that just like has helped it. You know, that's just kind of helped it like morph into just this absolutely magical place. From wizards, you know, for wizards, and that just come throughout all over the spiral. You know, this is like your haven. Like, this is where you come back to, and I think that's really important to have in a world. So anyways, that's all I gotta say about Wizard City. Just hands down one of my most favorite in the game. But anyways, that's gonna be all for this world. Let us move on to the number one world on this list, guys. What do y'all think it could be? And last but certainly not least, we have the absolute nostalgia trip that is Grizzleheim. Like, this, god, this world, okay, I mean, obviously it's my most favorite. It is the best world in my opinion. It just like, it inches out over Wizard City by just like that much. I know I don't have a face cam, but if you could see, I was just kind of pinching my fingers a little bit. It barely is better than Wizard City. But it just, there's like this certain feeling. It's kind of similar to Wizard City's, but definitely not equal, to where I just come to the world and I just get like this certain feeling. It's like a mixture of nostalgia and memories and just other things. I don't know how to explain it, dude. it's amazing, and not a lot of worlds can really do that for me. Grizzleheim will just always hold a special place in my heart. I know it's definitely not a perfect world by any means. Like, for example, like the first half of Grizzleheim gives like no XP. Of course, that is kind of offset though by the second part, which is Wintertusk, which just gives mass amounts of XP, but it doesn't give that much XP. The difficulty scale is kind of weird. Like, it's almost like they designed the world kind of on a by world basis. Like, you know, and what I mean by that necessarily is you kind of have to be a certain level to go to certain areas of Grizzleheim, because it just gets really exponentially harder. So it's definitely weirdly designed, but overall it's my favorite world. Like, literally no other world brings me more joy like upon entering than Grizzleheim. There's just something about it, man. And honestly, if it ever got a graphics revamp, this could just be like one of the most, if not the most beautiful world in the Spiral. It's just so nice, and honestly, man, I would not have it any other way. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video though, everyone. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to leave your opinions in the comments down below of all of the worlds in the Spiral, your opinions on them. Rank them if you want. I'm not really sure, but I'd really love to hear your thoughts and feedback on this video. If you liked it, you know, make sure to leave a like down below, or maybe subscribe if you're enjoying the content and, you know, you're looking forward to more content in the future, because you already know your boy is gonna hit you up with that. So anyways, that's gonna be all from me, everyone. I will see all of you in the next video or stream, whenever that may be. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope you will come to enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, guys. I'll see you later, and peace out.